Crafters for life, man.
I was gonna throw those in here. Blizzard Mint wants to know what's your favorite Final Fantasy.
Six.
Appropriate. Appropriate. It's
Yeah.
that's
Final
just
Fantasy VI was like downright the greatest game because when you thought you finished it, you didn't. You were only like halfway through the game as it was. So
yeah. Like I that was the first game I ever bought. I'm very proud of that. I wish I still had it.
The first game ever.
Yep. First game I ever bought.
I've actually, well, the first one I bought was four, and that's I guess that's kind of showing my age, but whatever.
I
Uh,
mean, I'm a year younger than you, man.
uh, but
So,
I mean, I don't know. Six was just it had such an in-depth story. It was the first game that had such a great backstory, and it had the side stories with all the characters
mhm.
that really built up the story as a whole. And the gameplay was, A1 for turn-based
Yeah.
gameplay. So
I mean, and it's you get to play as a team of Moogles at some point in the game. So
yeah, and I don't know, like seven and eight are like the staples, but and they're great games, and nine and 10 were too, but I don't know, six is where it's at.
yeah. All right. So the top items in existence uh, is Maple Log.
I believe that.
It is, and it destroys everything. That is, I think, there are 6.5 trillion maple logs in a game, and the one under that is Jade at 2.1 trillion.
That just the jade just seems really really out there for whatever reason. Like,
Yeah.
why do you need that much jade?
Okay, I don't know.
Just in case.
Yeah. All right, and rarest minions is the Iron Dwarf. Where do you get that from? Iron Dwarf.
No clue.
Maybe that's why it's so rare. All right, we're gonna find out, guys.
I,
Iron
I, don't-
Dwarf.
I honestly
Don't do it.
don't know
Don't do
where
it.
any of these except for the Godwalker comes from. That's it. I have no clue where these come from because I think I have maybe 30 minions.
Okay, it's crafting. You get it by a level 60 armorer.
Ah, well, there you go. That's why no
Well,
one has
yeah.
it.
It probably has some ridiculous mats with it too.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's 3 Iron Giant cores, 3 Iron Giant scraps, 2 Garland steel joints, Glaze Nut, Dawnborn, Aether Sand, and 99 ice shards.
Why
Oh,
Garland?
okay. Where do these Iron Giant things come from? That I don't understand.
I don't
The
know
other
either.
three I know where they come from, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. If
Saint
you-
Soma said airdrop or airship drops.
Yeah, I think Argent. That would make sense. If they actually came from an airship, yeah, I don't know. Since they're not really too much in the game, we don't have our airship ready, so we don't fucking know.
I
God
keep
damn.
trying to get a party together.
It's tough. We have to get people to help us make our airship.
So we need like 2 more people.
Yeah.
You need to bribe them.
Yeah. Okay, come in here, and then we will tell you thank you.
That's the worst bribe ever. But okay.
I bribe you with my gratitude.
Bugs.
Hi,
Okay.
Gil.
Gil,
Put the
yeah.
muscle mog on the screen. That will be enough.
I think
I
the
will
only-
take. I will not put muscle mog on the screen.
I think the only person that might show up for you is Adagio.
No, he won't fucking show up for me.
Not for muscle mog. I've seen it too many times. I'm like, scarred.
All right, and this is what we're talking about right now is global, just statistics. Geos, I think that's how you say her name. So the rarest mount is the War Panther, which is from playing a Dark Knight, and right under that is actually the Parade Chocobo. I would think there'd be a lot less Parade Chocobos than there would be for the War Panther, but I guess a lot of people haven't had enough time to play
Build
them.
up those combinations.
Yeah.
We have a couple guys that have the War Panther.
Yeah.
Like they had it week one.
Hey,
They-
force
they made-
spam!
Yeah, they made their Dark Knight A4 spam all the way through it, and I'm really surprised that Parade
Oh, wow.
Chocobo
We
isn't
actually
above
both
that.
just,
Yeah,
we
no.
both just made that mistake, didn't we?
What?
A4 spam instead of T4 spam.
Or T4 spam, whatever.
Yeah,
I was
T4.
following you. Hey, look, they could be spamming A4. I don't know.
That'd be pretty
Whatever.
awesome. I don't,
No.
Does that count?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know why the A4
Any-
Savage mount isn't the rarest.
What? No, it's you don't get a mount from A4 Savage, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
They
Oh,
do.
oh.
Yeah, it's the Godwalker. But I, th-
Maybe no one
honest,
has it right now, and that's why it's
That
still.
might be so rare, huh?
well, I think they're doing things outside of actual raid content because they know that only a handful of people at this point are actually going to have that Godwalker. So
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That'd be funny if, you know, how one of the first groups cleared it and they forgot to get the tank pants. Was that
It-
no? Is it A3 that they did that on, or A4? I forget already.
Not- Probably A4.
those groups don't need it anyway, even
Yeah.
though it would have been nice.
It would have been funny if that dropped and then they left that behind. But who would do that? I would probably delete my character if that happened.
You would
You,
delete
you know
your
what?
character?
You know what's funny is we used to have a tank that he would roll and he would leave before the roll actually went off, and then we would be like, "What are you doing? Like, stay and get your drops."
That's
Yeah,
happened to
I
me
know, So
once.
many people. So many people have done that in my group. It's like, why are you just leaving? You roll it, you just leave.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. That's kind of interesting. Glamour stuff. No one does glamour, right? Glamour.
What are you talking about? You have like 5 glamours.
You're in trouble.
I have Moogle head. There's nothing else I need.
And you have a gambler's code.
Oh, that's right. I do, don't I?
My raid team's called Mount Olympus, and we picked our gods and stuff. And my warrior is Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty, because he is a glamour whore, and he knows it. And we pick on him about it all the time, but he changes his glamour so much.
Yeah.
Can the
that's
parade chocobo fly? That's a good question. I don't know.
I actually don't.
I mean, the fat
think so
chocobo
yet.
could
Yeah.
fly, so why wouldn't it be able to?
It's just.
I'm pretty sure it can.
Oh, really?
Just I don't think many people actually have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. All right. So just for glamour, real quick, the most glamour thing is the Emperor's new gloves.
You saw that coming. I mean, nobody likes wearing the gloves anyway.
Yeah. So that's basically just invisible gloves, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then Emperor's new necklace. You never see necklaces anyways. Why would you?
Well, I guess you could, depending on what you're wearing, what your glamour is, and some of them are pretty
I see
ugly.
necklaces sometimes.
I mean,
Especially when you get like the coil necklaces and stuff. It's just like a choker around your neck and it's all lit up with elegant lights and stuff. I've seen necklaces. Come on.
I like those actually. Those were probably some of the best.
I didn't like the dread worm because it's like this big. It's like a
Okay, the second one was Hippim Kamis. Am I saying that right? Hippim
Yeah.
Kamis? I don't know.
That's like the level 1 shit.
yeah.
Oh.
It doesn't have any stats on it or anything.
No, is that like the freaking underwear and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we have the most popular dye is Suit Black Dye, Midnight Blue Dye, and then Grape Purple Dye is the next one. So
Black or Riot.
yeah, exactly. Got to be dark, guys.
Well, it's just most people don't have the pure black dye, so might as well go with the best
the cheap,
alternative.
yeah, the cheapest black dye. All right, so this is the next part that I actually find actually interesting. To me, is really interesting is the people who have actually cleared Alexander, and both in normal and in savage, and so. And on the real number that matters to me is how many has cleared Alex Normal 4, like all 4 of them. And there are 230,000 people who have done that. So to me, that means there are around 200,000 active people doing in-game raiding, or trying to do in-game raiding. About, I guess, a quarter of those have actually cleared A1 Savage. Really, 58,000 people have cleared A1 Savage. 38,000 people have cleared A2 Savage. So if you've cleared A2 Savage, you are in the top 20% of people who are actively raiding right now. Congratulations, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel awesome now.
If you have cleared Alex Savage 3, then you are much, much higher percentage. You are in the, I guess, top 2% of the people rating right now. And if you cleared A4, you're fucking in the top like 0.1% or 0.01% right now. Because about a week ago, only 58 people have cleared Alex Savage Turn 4. And that's actually, I'm really content with that. That means
So
they
am
made
I.
content worth it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can definitely see the difference between the people who have cleared two and the
Hmm.
people who are on three who haven't cleared it, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
Well,
it
made
drops by
content.
like 10% of the people who have actually cleared A2 have cleared A3.
And did they make the content worth it, or did they just make it more challenging?
If it's challenging, it's worth it to me. It's not worth it if it's not challenging. It's boring and it becomes redundant, and I'm not happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that like we were talking about on the pre-show
Hmm.
was one of the things that we like to do is we like to clear content. We like doing progression, but we also don't want to get to the point to where we down all the content and still have like 3 months before any new content's going to come out, and now we don't have anything to do.
Exactly. I mean, that's me too. And if I clear it in the time around where 3.1 happens, or if I'm at least working on the end of it when 3.1 happens, then I feel pretty good because I'm only like, uh, I don't know, being done with the game for about 2 months before new content comes out doesn't feel horrible to me. Doesn't feel too bad. I feel like that's not a huge wait for it, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I mean, and even if you look at these statistics that they have now currently for Alexander, and if you go back to like T13 before Heaven's Word dropped, 212 people on Exodus server had cleared it, period, before
Mm,
3.0.
yeah.
I
Wait,
mean,
wait, wait, wait. Cleared T13 only like how many people on Exodus?
212 people.
Before Heavensward came out?
Hmm.
That doesn't sound right at all to me.
That's all that was out there that cleared it.
Because we cleared it. And I didn't think that we were at the top of the people playing on Exodus. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they did a poll like a week before Heaven's Word came out, and 212, like they broke it down from server to server. 212 people had cleared T13 a week before Heaven's Word dropped.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Uh, the people who had the Louise minion?
Louis Swa.
Louisois? Louisois minion? Huh. Well, alright. Okay, so this is kind of the funny part to me is the most wanted creatures, the ones that have been killed the most. Number one was Stale Bubble from the Guild Heist, where you have the Marlboro and you're trying to kill all the bubbles before they get the land.
Uh, there were a lot of bubbles.
Yeah, there are a lot of bubbles.
I remember starting the game, and that was probably the worst guild has to do. And now it's a joke.
Oh, yeah, it is a joke. It's just so funny that like that's not even a creature in the world that you can go kill actively. It's just in a guild heist or guild hist or whatever you want to call it. And right under that is the little ladybugs.
Like the ones right outside of Gridania.
Yeah, the ones right outside of
Oh,
Gridania.
no, that's on everybody's hunting log. Everyone has to do at least 10 of them, okay?
All right. So for the people who are lucky enough to win Jumbo Cacpot, there's been 378 people who have won it so far.
I don't believe it.
I mean,
I
it's
do not.
been
I don't believe it.
God, how
Give
long?
me your MGP.
Yeah, all that fucking MGP. I mean, right now, if you go do your three mini Cacpots, you're averaging about at least 100. Well, I guess maybe not 100, but maybe around 100 MGP a week, right?
Just 100 MGP a week?
No, 100,000. I'm sorry, 100,000.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
I
that
was
makes
like,
more
I
sense.
get some pretty crappy tickets, and I think I get
Yeah,
more
I
than
was,
100.
and well, I guess, yeah, probably because it didn't take me long after they implemented that to get my tortoise mount, and I
Mm-hmm.
haven't messed with it since. So
Yeah. Well, I'm still going for it because I want to get everything I can from it. I want to get the cloud card and be like the one guy who actually got the cloud card. Once, there's actually competitive triple triad, which will never happen, but I have hope. The minion...
Oh yeah, because that tournament system is a joke.
Yeah, the tournament is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But all right, it's not the stupidest thing. I'm sorry, Square. I'm sorry. It's not the stupidest thing. It's just
I'm not
really
sorry.
stupid.
It is. Thank you.
Well, they have an MSR rating or MRS rating or whatever you call it, the match rating, a match rating system. So MRS system coming with the minions fighting. So I'm hoping they'll start to introduce something like that for Triple Triad. That would be very interesting to see, and then that will maybe make it actually enjoyable.
Still
and fun.
gonna just do win trading.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, people are going to exploit it.
yeah.
any way they can.
I mean, they're going to exploit it as much as they would exploit any other game, right? And in the end, the people at the top usually deserve to be at the top, right?
No.
I don't know.
You're a master exploiter, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, with
Oh, it is.
MRS, you get to a point. If they say, if you're this far below this guy in points, you can't play him or you get no points from beating him. And so you start to get to a point where there's only tiers of people who are high up there, and you've worked so hard to get to that point that if you face them and you don't actually have the skill to beat them, you're going to lose a shitload of points, right?
I honestly feel like the way that you're describing it, that really hurts the people on the bottom. If they could get more points from taking on and winning against someone of a higher tier, that's fine. But I feel like the people at higher tiers shouldn't make anything off of the lower guys.
Well, yeah, the highest tier should not make anything from the lower guys. Only the high tier people fighting each other should make stuff off each other. But if they're fighting each other, it's unlikely they've built up multiple characters to be at that high MSR rating, because it's almost impossible, because you would have to buy tons and like millions of accounts to actually get to that point to where you're at that level of abuse. Otherwise, you're just really good at the game and you just beat them and you get up there that way. And I feel like in the end, the people at the top are most likely going to be really good, and the people kind of below the people at the top might be the people who abuse.
I still just want to see how this whole system goes down, to be honest with you. I'm still having a hard time, like, envisioning what's actually happening during this game, so I wanted to implement it and see what's actually going on before I decide if it's even worth my time, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of trial and error with it, honestly. I mean, they have to implement one thing, see how people exploit it, then go back and try to change it, so...
All right. So going on with the statistics, we have 68,000 people who have gotten married. That's actually kind of
Not
low. Not you?
No.
Adagio, have you got married in game?
Nobody loves me in game.
Okay, fair enough. Kerr and I have both gotten married.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that works out.
She's like, yeah. She's like, he made me.
We had to get. I just wanted the mount.
I was coerced. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
I think a lot of that comes from a lot of people don't want to do the free marriage either. They want to pay for it, but they don't want to in the same sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
They don't want to
that
seem
sounds
like
pretty
cheap bastards, but they still want to get married.
Yeah. Well, in the end, like if they really want the stuff, it's no. I mean, you spend $25 on an Odin mount. I don't think it's that big of a deal. If people really want to get that stuff, and it's nice. It's really nice to just be able to teleport to her. To be honest with you, that's the main reason I like it. I'm like, hey, go to this. I don't know, A rank or S rank, and I'll just teleport to you.
Actually, I think I'd benefit more because we're doing raid and you have to be in the hinterlands, so I just
Yeah.
teleport to you.
Yeah, so she just teleports to me instead of actually going there. Because you have to go through Idleshire and all that other crap, but...
I honestly think that's probably the most useful thing out of the whole ordeal. I mean, the mount's cool and whatever, but the teleporting thing, and now with 3.1 and the shared housing, that's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That would be the most important because you can't live together right now.
Yeah. Well, it'll happen. It'll happen. And I'm going to
Absolutely.
redecorate the house, Kerr.
I wonder what happens if you get an annulment. Does the woman get all the property?
You know it.
Yeah. I'm sure it just goes to
And
the
they-
original
and-
buyer, but...
And then she gets all the mini pets and all the mounts. And
Oh, yeah.
Just left broke. on the side of the road somewhere.
Sit in rags on the road. Please give me a minion. I'm bored. All right, and so one of the last bits on this census is that Yoshida, how much people shout out to Yoshida. And apparently, and these are praises. These aren't just people saying his name, apparently. This is people actually, well, I don't know. It says the target words are just his name, but I wonder if they actually calculate, they're actually saying something nice or something bad. And so they put praises in quotes, and they said that basically every 3 minutes someone says something about Yoshida.
Basically just his name mentioned.
Yeah. I think it's just his name mentioned. And most people, of course, talk about it in EFC or the Link Shell. And people apparently say it a good bit, too. Just out and say, because they probably just they're too lazy to switch chats. But
I think a lot of that comes from like patch drops when people are kind of upset or they like something. Like the whole the Rising Sun event or whatever it was when, spoiler alert, if you haven't gone and seen it, you know, the whole ordeal with the story on that, and what was so cool about it, I thought it was really neat that he put himself and all the devs in. So
oh yeah, it was a weird thing to see them breaking the, you know, fourth wall with all that stuff, but it was definitely the right decision. I think that most people enjoyed it, and they got a lot of good press because of it. So I'm sure it didn't take that long to create that either. So they're doing everything. I know this is what they're doing. They're doing everything they can to make the people who play the game happy. And that's the kind of people that you want to actually play the game for, right? Like, I'm playing a game for that developers make to actually make me happy. But then again, you don't want to make everybody happy, because then we're just
hey, great segue in the community.
Yeah, so this is a good segue into community. Good segue into community. All right. So we are finishing up. That's our stat stuff. I don't think we have any relevant questions for stats, do we?
We got no questions.
No questions, guys. You guys got to ask questions.
Yeah, the chat needs to come on with the questions.
Ask some
There's
questions.
There's not much
man.
to say over stats, though.
There's lots to say. You'd be like, oh, I can't believe this. Do you really think...
I mean, people did react, but...
There were a couple of questions, but Kerr answered them in chat.
Kurt took care of them.
But they're directed at me.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
That's okay. All right, so Misery is probably right. This also could be from people just saying, Yoshi, please.
Yeah.
Yoshi, please. Why can't I fucking talk to people while I'm still mounted? I don't know. They at least made it to where it automatically unmounts you, all right? Okay, so let us go on to the next subject then. Give me just a second here. I'm going to swap slides. We're going to go into community, guys, which is the theme for tonight. It is, I think, worth revisiting. We talked about it at least once before.
Really wants to know how you feel about burnout.
How do I'm in the middle of segueing here, Adagio.
No, he's a community member. This is a very big community problem right now. It's fits, damn it.
Okay. Before I start my segue, then, I will do the one little bit of actually going into...
You asked for viewer questions. I did do my job.
Yeah, but you don't ask them, like, right when they're said. You're like, you're talking, let me go ahead and interrupt you and then ask you the question, Adagio. Come on, you're being a bad...
I don't tell you how to tell you how to do your job.
My job is to make sure you do your fucking job, Adagio. All right. So, Gilly, I just want to go ahead and let you know, I feel that the player burnout, it only gets real around A3, and I've seen two people in our static personally that have hit the player burnout, and I kind of see it kind of going with some other people, but Blizz, what do you think with the player burnout right now?
I think it's really something where if you don't have anything that can kind of take your attention away from the game outside of Raid, if that's what you're doing, if you're spending all your time in Final Fantasy, and if that's what you want to do, that's great. But if it's getting to the point to you're burning out and you don't have a way to get away from it and distract yourself, I think that's the main issue with it. Because, I mean, if you're raiding A3, it's tough. It's a wall that everybody is going to hit. And, I try to keep my guys as positive as possible. And most of them have ways of going and playing a different game, whether it be Star Wars: The Old Republic, because I know a couple of my guys have gone back to that, or D3 like me,
Hmm.
or a Wild Star, which is going free to play, and if you have beta keys, you can get in there. But yeah, I think the main problem is that people just don't have a way outside the game to do anything.
All right. Adagio, what do you think about the player burnout?
I honestly didn't think it was too bad until recent events happened, and now I'm officially the only person in my static that wants to raid anymore. So, looking
Oh.
for a new static now, kind of. But yeah, it's essentially you just gotta find something to take your time away from the game. If you need to take a quick break, you need to do something else. Do something else with your time. I mean, I'm not just that's why I'm playing Metal Gear Solid aside from Final Fantasy. I go and do my Final Fantasy thing, switch over to Metal Gear Solid. I'm not sitting here trying to burn out by just continuously playing Final Fantasy over and over again. That's part of the reason why I asked if they actually made the Savage content worth it instead of just challenging. Challenge is a good thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, all you're really getting out of it is you're getting the gear, which is just going to be outclassed by 3-2. So I mean,
That's
is it
how
really?
that's the ladder. That's how it works with the gear
Yeah.
system in the game.
So I mean, I think a lot of people are just getting burned out because all the other incentives have been taken out by like there's no story in the Savage because you get all that.
There's story.
You get it all. You get it all in the normal mode. Why would you do the
Well,
Savage mode for the story?
I guess you're right.
I
Yeah.
mean, the only thing you're essentially getting out of Savage is gear, and that's not enough for a lot of people, which is really causing a lot of stacks to break up.
I don't know. I always thought that it was always just about the challenge of beating the content. When you get to that point, you get the gear from
Oh,
it, and it's kind of like, oh, I can beat it easier now. I can be stronger of a player, and of course, that's another thing. You want to be a player that can do more damage, or usually it's always going to come down to doing more damage, or heal easier, or just be better overall. And getting that gear at this point would make you better than a lot of other players out there.
Yeah,
But
I think it's community, being competitive in the community.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like you're competing, if you have another a static that you're competing against. But the only bad thing I'll say about that is sometimes you'll get a group and then they won't have as good of an advantage as the other group, and just maybe their people are a little bit better, and so they will clear something a week or two before your team clears it. And the problem is when you get too competitive like that, your group falls apart because you're like, well, my group's not good enough because this group's already cleared it. We might not be a good group.
We had that problem in T13 where some of the other groups were clearing before us, and one of the things I told my guys was like, look, you can look at them all you want, but make sure you use it as positive reinforcement. Don't use it as a negative thing, thinking, oh, hey, they cleared before us, we suck, blah, 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 blah. No, like, make that your reason to down the content even that much more.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, it's always been that. I wanted to clear it and then get the gear and everything else, but at the same time, I guess a lot of people didn't do Savage before in Coil because all you got was a title from it, and it was hard as shit.
Yeah, it was,
I mean-
well, it was old content. A lot of people just didn't want to go back and do it.
I mean, I don't know, like when you were going through coils for the first time, especially like Final Coil, you're just like really excited because you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get to the next boss, and there's so much story right here. We're gonna get to the storyline, and it's epic storyline. And I mean, it actually felt like involved part of the game, something that was continuing on. Whereas Alexander, you do all the normal stuff, you get all the story mode, you experience all the bosses, not at their top peak, obviously, but then at that point, it's just like it feels detached from everything else in the game at that point, which, I mean, yeah, it's raiding, but it just feels a lot more separated than Coils ever did, so.
I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy with Savage how they have it right now. I kind of wish that normal mode didn't exist just because I feel like it made it kind of close to what WoW's doing right now, where they're getting different levels of stuff, and that's one of the things that turned me off from WoW at a certain point is where they had 4 different difficulties of the exact same content.
Now, what I would have been happy with, I think that's part of the reason it's also the burnout, is that they launched this normal stuff. People have been doing these fights for, what, like 6 months now? Is that right? Since Heaven Wars dropped?
6 months? No, the
4
game
months.
hasn't been out for 3 months, man.
3 months, however long, fine. So we've been doing it ever since
2 months.
regular coils or regular Alexanders dropped. It feels like 6 months. But so when you go into the Savage, I mean, yeah, you're experiencing harder difficulties and different mechanics, which is essentially the same thing you've just been doing for the past couple of months. You're just getting higher tier grade. Maybe they should have done it as like a pre-nerf to the Savage if they're ever going to nerf Savage. Like, you know, drop the Savage first, put the story in there, and therefore the people that want to get through that content still have that reason, that incentive for beating it, and then drop the normal mode afterwards so that the people that don't get to do the Savage be like, oh, well, they dropped an easier mode, let me go through this and get the story instead. So I think that's how they should have did it versus how they did do it.
Like, I can see why they used the multiple difficulties, because there was a lot of complaints that, you know, I'm a casual player, I'm never going to go through Coil, how else will I get through the story, you know, this is a story-based game. I want to see the story. Well, I can't see the story because I don't have a static. So this was their answer to those people. And I don't think we should really punish those people for wanting that, because it's true, this is a story-based game.
I agree. I don't think we should punish them either. It does take away from...
It does for us, the hardcore people that have to grind through it, but in the end, I'm glad I saw the story. It was cheesy. I liked it.
Well, I think it's a hard line to kind of balance on between having such a really casual game and a casual player base with, you know, your 1 or 2 percenters that are pretty hardcore in the rating in just any game. And I think that goes for any platform game that's out there currently. They're all having the same problem, is that they can't balance the needs of both, having that hard content out there while giving the casual players something to do. And I think another part of the burnout too is the crafting system. The crafting system was complete garbage when they dropped 3.0. The whole specialist system that they're doing currently is worthless, absolutely worthless.
Okay.
You know, 3.1, they're supposed to be bringing the specialist skill crafting mats and stuff, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how much more that's going to make it better, but it's terrible.
I mean, I don't know. I don't deal with crafting, so I don't have to experience it firsthand. I like the idea of it because I feel like it was kind of... I don't want there to ever be one person who's like, I can make this one character, and he will literally be everything I will ever need, and I will not have to depend on another player ever.
Well,
Yeah.
you know how much work it takes to get there, right?
It takes a shitload of work, yeah. No, I'm definitely not discounting that, but when you have people who can bot all day and find cheat ways around these things, it's a little bit upsetting that they're still able to get to that point, but then they would just make another fucking character, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I think that's one of the things that they tried to do with the gathering too, which I should have brought up with the crafting as well. Putting everything behind the unspoiled notes, they're on timers. You have 2 timers an hour every 30 minutes, and it's really tedious. You have to be sitting there ready to go because you have a very short window to go get them. And that's where all your mats are. I mean, nobody wants to sit there all day
Right.
and gather.
So you think
know I don't.
crafting is too hardcore right now, kind of, in its own right?
I don't even think it's so much hardcore. I just think that the system that they had in 2.x was so much better than what they have now.
Okay.
I mean, the only reason they did split it up is because they didn't want you to have to level every class to be good, but now they essentially made it to where you can't level every class to be
Yeah.
do anything. You have to pick 3, and those are your 3 favorites, and those are the only ones you can really get to top tier. So
I mean, if they wanted to do that, they should have gone through the old 50s and messed with them a little bit more before, you know.
All right. Now we're getting into the crafting stuff, and I don't know anything about it, so I'm gonna back off of it for a second, and then we'll jump in. All right, Adagio, hold off on the questions if they come in. Copy them. Get ready.
no questions. There's
Yeah.
no questions. No questions.
And I'll get to them when we hit a free point.
Yeah, I want to ask questions. I will freely interrupt them as soon as y'all post it, and I'll ask them straight.
So if you guys are interested in being our community person that kind of gets the viewer questions for us, please let me know. All right. So again, when discussing community tonight, it's important to also know that our opinions are kind of just shaped on our individual experiences and may not, may be different from everyone else's, and that's with fucking everything. But that being said, please give us our input as well, and hopefully Adagio will handle that properly, and he will be your voice. And I'll kind of go to Adagio either for his opinions or for whatever available opinions you guys have given him throughout the chat. And that way we can have a great discussion here. But first, one of the biggest things I think that provides a type of community in the game, especially when you have a huge FC or a small FC. Either way, that's part of your go-to family. But some people maybe not. So I have a question, and of course that is, what do you think free companies should be as a role in the game, and do you think free companies are actually living up to that standard? And I'll start actually with you, Blizz, if that's all right.
Yeah. I think honestly, free companies should be whatever the leader and the community within that free company want it to be. Um, do I think that they're what they should be? Yeah, of course. I mean, some of them fall apart if they're not. Take mine, for example. Fairy has been the largest and most active on Exodus for a long, long time now. And while we can't take care of, 400 people all the time,
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's there, if they're discussing an FC chat or they come in TeamSpeak or whatever else, they're active in some way. And they just like I guess, the camaraderie of having a large FC around them. But for a lot of people, I mean, I've invited a couple of people and they're just like, hey, look, this big FC is not for me. And they go to a smaller FC, and that's fine. If you want your tight knit group of people, be around them. I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Oh, hey, I hate you because you're not in fairy tale or whatever." It's
Yeah.
do you? You pay for the game.
Yeah.
You know.
So your kind of mentality is pretty much free companies or whatever the fuck the free company leader wants it to be. And if you don't like it, you can just leave.
Well, yeah, but I mean, any good FC leader and any good FC, like with the officers and stuff, should be taking into account what their members actually feel. I think it's just like any other business is, hey, get some feedback from your guys, let them know what you can do to grow, or if you don't want to grow anymore, hey, we can stop this here.
Okay. Kerr, so in your vision, what's the perfect FC?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I have a vision of a perfect FC, but going off of what Bliss said, I do agree that it's based on what your leader wants and what that small group or big group really wants in their own community. But as for me, my perfect FC, I guess, is probably just like a group of friends that can do stuff together and talk and log on every day and chill.
I gotcha. Just kind of hang out and just kind of add that social aspect
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
game.
Because personally, I play the game for the social aspect. So if I don't really have that, I kind of don't have like a reason to keep playing.
If you're not playing it for the social aspect, MMOs are probably not for you.
That's true too.
Yeah. Do you think Kerr and I have been through a few FCs and we've left and gone to them with no hard feelings when we left and we gone to them. But overall, do you think free companies are living up to the kind of standard you would expect when you go into an FC, or is it just kind of meh?
You talking to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I think so far with the FCs we've joined, it's usually been for a different reason. Like, there's a certain person we want to follow because we like that
Hmm.
person. He is very helpful with us. Like, he's that community anchor that we have. And that's who we followed around. And unfortunately, the rest of the community um, wasn't like the way he was. So that didn't work out for us.
Right.
The next one I really liked, but unfortunately we had a little bit of drama.
Well,
Drama's always nice.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen.
Hmm. So I guess another good question I can ask, and I'll ask this to you, Blizz, is what made you want to join the FC that you're in right now?
You know, when I started the game, and I had told you this before, I created my own little FC. It was just me and my raid members. We server transferred and did the same thing. Then we had a merger with White Lotus. I don't even know if they're still around, honestly. And I don't know. We just like that aspect of being a part of I don't know, a little bit bigger FC. And right after that, we quit the game and came back, and one of the things that we wanted to do was have something where what we looked for was what's an FC that's really, really active with raiders that we can theory craft with is kind of where it came down to. And that's why we joined Fairy Tale, because they had active raid members downing content. It's people we could talk to that were like-minded. So um, as far as being in there, I mean, that's the reason why we joined in the first place and why we kind of stuck it out.
All right, Adagio, do you want to inflect your own personal experiences, or is there something that you think that should be mentioned due to chat?
Well, Trapper said, which I really agree with, is he said he's in a guild where everyone helps each other out and they're supportive, and plus it's a place where you can be yourself, which is really at the end of the day what you really want to do. I mean, you don't want to have to like put on an act for your free company members. You really want to be able to just be yourself. I mean, it's a game. You want to have fun. You don't want to feel like you're walking on eggshells the whole time. You're just not going to have any fun. So you want to obviously have a group of people that will accept you for who you are and obviously help you out. We also had someone here say that they should help you clear content, which, yeah, I mean, that's always a fun thing. But I mean, unfortunately, you can't expect people to help you clear content because at the same time, if you're in there, hey, I need this clear, I need this clear, I need this clear, people are gonna not really like that guy's always asking for clears and he doesn't ever do anything for us. And
So,
so don't be the kind of guy that's just constantly asking for help from your free company.
and
If you
I
get
want
it,
to harp on that too. I really want to harp on that. If you,
Me too.
yeah, if you're in a free company and you're wanting them to clear stuff for you, it better be because you fucking did your part in the fight, not because they cleared it for you. And that's really my thoughts on it because you're getting seven people to kind of just do something for you that you didn't really earn and you feel like you deserve that because you're in their FC. That would probably piss off any person who runs the FC. But then again, there could be a person who's like, this is the clear bot place. We will clear everybody for you. Clear everything that you want to clear. But if that's what they want to do in the FC, but in my FC, that wouldn't fly as well. Blizz?
Yeah, I was telling you about this the other day. Was as an well, I used to be an officer in Ferry. I did carries and cells during after our T13 progression and the 3 to 4 months leading up to Heavensward as kind of like a fundraiser for the FC for like airships and stuff like that. And we got a lot of flack because we were carrying people through it. But I think it's kind of a case by case basis. If you're coming into an FC and you're just saying, gimme, 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 that's a problem. For our FC members, one of the things that we did was you had to have known 50% of the fight before we would carry you, period. You had to know half the fight before we would do anything. Now for like cells outside of it, we would go to like FCs that were like crafting FCs, never did any of the content. They just kind of wanted the aesthetics or whatever, and they had the money to pay for it. I don't know. It kind of goes both ways on that. And I'm kind of on the fence on either side. I don't like the gimme, gimme, gimme people, and we've had plenty of them in Fairy. It's just I don't really disagree with making a business out of helping other people either.
Well, I mean, I will just go ahead and say this because one of the most enjoyable things I've done in the game is when, Final Coil was coming out and Second Coil, you could go in there and do it as many times as you wanted to, get gear, whatever. And there was a lot of people who were actually working to clear Second Coil while Final Coil was out. And so one of the things that I would do is just join party finders of people looking to get clears for T9. And I would just do everything I could to help and teach them how to do the fight. I didn't want to clear it for them, but I wanted to go in there and take the challenge of actually getting these guys through the fight. And I love that. As long as they can do their part and actually work towards it, it's an accomplishment that you feel at the end of it. But if they want to just sit there and die on the floor and don't care, I really don't care if you clear it or not. But
Yeah, I mean, show some effort. I mean, that's something I've always told everybody that comes to me for help, whether it just be like, learning about your class or rotation or any of the theory crafting stuff I do on classes and mechanics and whatnot. Like, come with me with some kind of effort. Know somewhat of what you're talking about before you're just like, oh, hey, I just want all the knowledge you know.
you're on.
Yeah. Like I think it's like with any relationship though, friendship, boyfriend, girlfriend, there has to be some reciprocal aspect to it. Like I might be helping you, but I don't know. It's just like if you keep asking for things, you end up being a child. I mean, you are a child because you keep asking for help.
Yeah, and we're not your parents.
Right.
I don't need any kids right now.
Like maybe if you're a good friend in the FC, like you're on all the time, you just do your own thing. Yeah, sure, we'll help you out, help you learn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
Adagio, any other thoughts?
Well, I got one for the FC side. Don't charge your members to get clears for them. If you're gonna help them out, just help them out. Don't freaking make them pay you to get a clear for something. I mean,
That
I've had
does
some
seem kind of
people
silly.
come from like I don't know what other free companies are like. Yeah, I needed a clear from like T12 or T13, and they wanted to charge me like a million gil. I'm like, are you freaking serious? Just come with us. We'll run you through it real quick. So I mean, don't charge your members to get clears. I mean, it's just stupid.
bad. I heard of this one FC. I think it was a different server. They charged their members to use the garden.
That's ridiculous to
Yeah, for
me.
like a week. You can use this plot for a week.
Uh,
50 or 500,000 gil for a week.
yeah, that's how to not have a successful free company.
Yeah.
Just general advice out there if you want to fail your free company for any reason. Okay. So let's actually go into the next part of that, which is comes into a little bit more of a tight knit kind of thing, which is the statics. And I honestly feel like statics are the main group of people that you usually interact with. It's kind of like your, I don't know, your go-to seven other people that you experience most of the game with. But, maybe some people don't think that that's true. How much interaction do you have, guys, with your static members in comparison to other outlets in the community? Do you sit there and like this is all you, the only people you talk to, or is it just like the closest people that you talk to, and you have a lot of other people you talk to, or you barely talk to your static and you only talk to your free company, so on? And Kerr,
Um, I mean, I probably talk to our stack the most.
mm-hmm,
Like, that's my main community interaction because our free company is just us, basically.
mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of interaction, but they're not always on. I think lately it's been more of a only log on for raid thing
Yeah, I
with
think
us.
at least a couple people in the raid are kind of
But
only
yeah,
logged
the
in.
yeah the burnout's pretty real.
Yeah, so that's kind of a sad thing.
But I think like having like the relationship with our stack's pretty important because that's what makes you a pretty good team. You know how the other communicates and just all these little social nuances.
Okay. Uh, Blizz.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I talked to quite a few people outside of my static, but most of the conversations between the static, I mean, being the raid leader, like I have to have communication with them, um, and that's one of the main key things with me is just getting to know them, their schedules, how they play, how their personalities are. So, um, yeah, most of the time I just talk to my static. I'll tell you now, I hardly talk to my FC chat. I mean,
Mm,
there's way too many people in Fairy, and there's just really like awkward or just conversations going on that I have no business being in. So I just really don't pay attention to it. A lot of the drama happens in FC chat, so we just kind of keep away from it for the most part.
I have a
yeah.
question. Like with the FC being that big, is this sometimes kind of like clicky? Like you have to.
It's very much so that way because you have to understand we have a lot of casual players that just do their dungeon runs, their dailies, they may do like Alex normal and that's fine. You know, they may come to us for help for their class or their rotation or whatever, but for the most part, like the active members are all raid members and like the officers. And most of them are in raids as it is. So it's I don't know if it's so much clicky as that those really active players who come on TeamSpeak and stuff are more of one group, and then it's the rest of the FC.
Mm.
Hmm. So I guess to build off that a little bit with TeamSpeak, do you have Like, we don't use TeamSpeak, and I mean, maybe that would be a good idea for us to use. I don't know. But do you feel like TeamSpeak adds a lot of interaction with your free company, or is it just really your static hangout spot?
Uh, it does because like we have our handful of people that come in, but I just wish that there was more. I wish more people came in from the FC. A lot of people are afraid to talk to others. They don't have mics or they don't have this or that. But honestly, I wish more people would come in so we could interact with them. Um, and we have to weed out the bad apples, but
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, the ones that come into TeamSpeak are literally all the officers and our statics and a handful of other people um,
All right.
that come in, and I don't know, it's disheartening because we have so many people.
Yeah. But then again, if you had fucking 200 people in TeamSpeak, that'd be kind of annoying too, wouldn't it?
That's exactly why my TeamSpeak channel has a lock on it because we're like some of the most social people in there, and everybody wants to party in my channel. So.
I gotcha. All right. So, Adagio, do we have any comments that we should know about from the viewers?
Um, Not too much. Trapper did have a question, which I kind of wanted to go off of, but I did want
Yeah.
to answer this question myself. As far as like my aesthetic, it's pretty much I got to the point of where that's the only thing I ever did clearing content with. If there's a new primal out, that's all I did with. I didn't do it with anybody else. Didn't DEF it. Anything that was 8 mins, always with my static. So I mean, essentially, we just got to the point where I wouldn't even DF like primals because it was like I didn't want to deal with the headache. I was like, I know my static can get it down, so I'll just wait for the static to get on and do it. So I mean, we got pretty close and we were doing all that stuff, but don't know what I'm gonna do now. Anyways,
Mm,
I don't think this question really applies to any of us because the question specifically was, do y'all have statics or are your statics your free companies? And I believe that all of us have our statics within our free companies. I
it's not
wanted to
true for
know,
Kerr and I.
oh, is that not true? Okay, so then y'all would be where probably what this is coming along. Do y'all speak more to your static or do y'all speak more to your free company?
Well, with our free company, it was the new free company that we kind of just put streamers that want to come to our server. We let them come to the free company and kind of talk with us and chat with us. Our static is a completely different beast. Like, our static was built off of just people that we've met in the game and had good interactions with. And I have a link shell that everyone I have a good interaction with, I try to get them into the link shell as well as um, the other people who have good interactions to invite other people into that link shell. And it's called the Pro Circuit link shell for all the people who are good at the game and they're just fun and they actually try for the content.
I noticed that I wasn't in this link shell.
You're right. You're not. I need to get you in there.
And
Eh,
I figured you just call me not good at my
yeah, I
game.
was gonna say something bad, but I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll be nice. I'm
Well,
gonna
I
get
mean,
you in.
like when we had more like than 75% of our static group in the FC previously, I don't think we really talked to the FC much anyway. We'd just be talking to our static. But when we went to a more, I guess, friendly FC, like people in the FC would encourage talking. Like they would say
Hmm.
hi to you, they'd say bye to you every day, ask you questions, how you're doing. Yeah, that encouraged us to communicate more in the FC, but otherwise it's just static
Yeah,
or LS.
yeah. And right now, I mean, that is the main point of people I talk to is the static, and I feel, and I built that static off of just not free company, not anything else, just people I've had good interactions with in Party Finder, which is odd because I mean, it sucks when you have to try to find people through Party Finder because you don't know what you're gonna get. But we found a good group of people, and I'm pretty happy with who we have right now. Uh, Anything else, Adagio?
As far as chat, not really. I mean, they're just talking about how some FCs can be clickish regardless of size. So you can have a small free company and still have clicks. So I mean, it's a
It,
problem, but I
I think
mean,
it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what Static's gonna do, because those are the people who matter in the game for you, because those are the people you're gonna clear stuff with, and it matters if
those
they
are the
have
people that
gear.
you're like spending, depending on how many days you raid, freaking 6 to 9 hours a day with. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go on to the next one then, which is link shells, which is a good part of the community, I think. It opens you up to how much is it? 200 and something people? 250 something people? 200 and something.
I haven't paid attention.
120. Wait. Yeah, 128.
Oh, just 128. Okay.
Yeah.
And so no matter, you can just make it your own little personal chat rooms. Like we go on to, I'll list out all the ones that I have later. But that's kind of one of the things I want to do is I want to ask you what link shells you guys currently use. And do you think that they actually help you stay in community or stay in touch with the community overall within your server? Blizz, I was talking to you, and I already know the answer to this, but how many link shells do you have, and what are you using for, man?
Two. I have my raid link shell,
Mm-hmm.
and I have mine and my co-leader are in a link shell, and that's it. Like me and my co-leader will sit there and talk in our link shell about raid stuff and stuff that we need to change or things like that. Other than that, it's my link shell for my raid. I used to have a bunch of hunt link shells, and those turn into like party finder groups and everything else, and it's just
Yeah.
like you make a link shell for a certain thing, use it for that, and I don't know, they just end up dead.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't really found any other ones that I really use, so
Huh. I mean, I guess they can kind of be true with what we have for link shells too, but I still have all mine maxed out. Um, and that's really, really interesting just to know that you only have two link shells. Like, you don't have any other interest of, like, a group of people that you just want to chat with them. Like, you don't have, like, a PvP link shell. You don't have, like, I don't know, another link shell for just, a general link shell for people that you want to do stuff with or anything like that. Just,
I take that back. I just got another link shell. I forgot all about it. My third link shell came in like yesterday. It's called the Fairy Carry Link Shell. We had one before, and it's basically all the raiders in there and some of the, people that are willing to help our FC with content. Bismarck, Ravana EX, stuff like that, to help them get through and clear it or get groups together. So, but we don't really talk in there. So.
I gotcha. All right, Kerr, what link shells do you have?
A lot of yours is probably similar to mine, but we have our static link shell. We have the link shell that we talk to people we like, which is the one you just mentioned. We have that one link shell that
We have
Shan made when we all went to FanFest.
Oh yeah,
and
the
then,
FanFest one.
right, so everybody that went to FanFest got to be in his link shell.
Yeah.
We don't talk in there at all. And then we have one with our first FC we
We have
joined.
one with all the people that came to the game and quit immediately.
Well,
Oh yeah, and then we also have one with the first FC, right?
yeah. So we have a bunch of friends that came to the game and then they stopped playing. So we have one for that doesn't really get used. It's just like a private chat between Frosty and I.
Yeah.
And then the other ones for me are hunting link shells. Oh, and a PvP link shell.
Yeah. Mine are pretty much exactly like hers. You got the chat with friends that don't play anymore. That's just a private chat between me and her. Like when we're doing content and we can't message each other, we have a link show we can talk to. It's just so funny. Every once in a while, someone will pop on and we're like, "What the fuck? You haven't played in like 6 months," and then they quit a week later.
Yeah.
But Adagio, what are we hearing from the chat, man?
There's actually a really good one from Michael E. Bruin. Says that they have a link shell for their neighbors in the housing area.
What?
I should do that, like, cause I mean that sounds like a good idea. I really like that.
Like the people in like the in-game
Like in their
housing?
actual neighborhood, yeah, in their in-game
Okay.
housing.
That's kind of
That's
cool.
something there. Trapper
We used
says
to have
that-
something like that too. Sorry.
You're fine. Trapper says they had 4 2 hunt LSs and other specifics to keep in touch with friends and other FCs.
That's
I mean, I have a couple from like old guilds. Like I have a couple members in my old guild, and then we used to have like a static LC or LS, and then I mean, not really much after that.
what do you use a neighborhood link shell for?
Just roleplay, I presume.
Is it roleplay?
I would guess. I mean, why else would you need it?
I mean, you're like, oh my god, these guys just put this stupid, ugly thing in their yard. I can't believe they did that. We need to contact the housing association right now.
The
HOA.
HOA.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of like what Sarge just said is between like neighboring FCs. What something that we did is we had an FC that was right above where our house is, and they were really good friends of ours of the FC, and they were raiders as well. And their leader just up and left, and so they kind of just took it over. They wanted to keep their tag and stuff, but they were already in our community, and they come over and help us out for like our raids or if we need to, help carrying some of our members and stuff like that. That's what we used it for.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I guess that just means like you guys are just a group of FCs that just work together because you're conveniently next to each other and you have to see each other when you're at your house anyways. And you kind of get to know them because you see them around. You have a convenience to getting to know them. So I guess that makes a lot of sense.
The ferry also has like 3 houses.
Yeah, various.
Yeah, we have to.
Two.
Oh, okay.
And then our neighbors just come and harass us, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really get any good interaction there. All right.
Zero's got all kinds of freaking link shells. It's got a Maelstrom PvP LS, Friends LS, Crafting and Gathering LS, and a Hunt LS, and a social one. I mean, that's that's a lot of link shells, man.
Max them out, man. All right. And I would agree that also hunting is like one of the top link shells out there to get, and most people have like 5 hunt link shells when hunting becomes relevant, just so they can make sure to be there as soon as possible. But then again, they could also be using guild work, so we won't talk about that.
Oh, neighborhood LS to make sure no Lalafels get in the neighborhood.
I need to be a part of that LS. Where do I sign up for that one?
All right. We don't talk about Lalas. Although, I'm sure, Blizzon, do you have any Lala friends?
Yeah, my white mage just you know him, Will. He just
Oh,
went
yeah.
from being a Lala to Row.
Just
Oh,
so you can
yeah.
be seen easier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Every
That
time I
must
see him
be-
around, it's hilarious.
It must be one hell of a change in game. Go from a Lala to a Row.
You went
I
to
don't
the
know how
right
you
one.
did
Yeah.
He wears the Mog helm, too.
Yeah, he'll go around and like his trademark thing in TS is he'll say Kupo,
Yeah.
and he's our little Moogle, and he used to be a Lalafell, and we got to A3, and him being the white mage, like we put him on B for Digititis, and we couldn't see him, and so he went and made the biggest row he could.
Yeah. He used to always walk up to me and just click on me, and then he'll say, "Daddy?" Because I'm the bigger row guy. That's not relevant anymore, I guess. But
Yeah, like what Jed said, Will believes he is a Moogle.
I'm a
It's-
Moogle. I mean,
It's funny. We actually asked him because he like works in like this corporate business thing. Like he's always on business calls and meetings and stuff like that. We asked him specifically if he said Kupo or acted like a Moogle.
oh, like in real life.
Yeah. He said no because I'm wearing a business suit.
All right. So let's go on to the next one, which is Party Finder, which plays a big part into the community. You guys might not think it plays a big part in the community, but if you use Party Finder at all, it's where you meet up with everyone else on the server. So I believe, okay, this is my current belief, that it factors a lot into the community and with everyone that uses it. But do you guys also believe that? So, Blizz, do you think Party Finder is a big factor in the community, or it's just like whatever?
Yes and no. I think there's a lot of stigma behind the Party Finder with bad groups and this and that, and there's a lot of trolling that goes on the Party Finder. But me personally, like if I'm going to do something like Alex Normal, I'll look on there, and I usually find pretty good groups because I'd rather Party Finder it with people that are on my server that I know may be halfway decent than trying to Duty Finder it and get mixed up with God knows what.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think people need to not be so worried about using Party Finder and just use it. Because you're gonna it gives you an outlet to interact with people you don't know. And you could find some really awesome people. You're gonna find shitty people, but you just fucking add them to your blacklist or something, man. It'll be okay. Kerr, do you even use Party Finder anymore?
I used to, but I felt like there was a lot more pressure with Party Finder because of server rep, which is like the next topic. But
Right.
for me, it tied very closely with server rep and just people like maybe knowing that like I might be horrible because I'm having a bad day, then they won't ever want to run with me again.
No, yeah.
So yeah, I still don't do a lot of Party Finder for that reason. But
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of we can jump into that too with server rep because I think that associates really well with Party Finder. It's like if you're doing stuff with other people and you do a shitty job in Party Finder and they see you're hosting our party, they're not going to join your party. But if they had a lot of good experiences, you might get parties in like seconds. So, Blizz, do you think that you've had any experiences with getting a server rep because of Party Finder or anything else? Or
Honestly, no. Like, that stuff's just silly, superficial stuff to me.
right.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I know people out there, and I know we've done it in the past with trolls or people that have just been downright blatantly disrespectful to people. We've put them on the blacklist, the server blacklist or
Hmm.
whatever. Um, does it always work? No, because people are going to find outlets to where they can go. But you know, if you're being a troll, if you're being just downright disrespectful to people, like just stop. Now that's the only server rep that I can ever say that I've ever seen on the server. I mean, I guess between the statics, like people know, oh hey, you're a decent player,
Hmm.
but other than that, I no one's come up to me and been like, oh my God, you're freaking awesome. I want you as my healer.
Right.
Besides my static,
Yeah.
because
Besides your awesome static, welcome, guys. Uh, I don't know. I kind of think that a lot of I got to know a shitload. Okay, there's two slaps. All right, I got to know a lot of people playing and doing Party Finder because I don't know. I felt like I was in FCs. I didn't really. My FC was always usually dead. I'd always have people who didn't really want to help with other stuff, and so my outlet was I have to find Party Finder and get some people to play with me because my FC isn't doing it, and that was like the first few FCs that we had, um, and I feel like I got to know most of the community pretty well, at least through Party Finder, and then of course all the people who don't use Party Finder never even heard of me, but I would get to know a lot of people, and I felt just sticking to my FC and sticking to link shells and everything else kind of limited me with who I could actually play with. And so I don't think I really built up a server rep or anything, but I got to know a lot of people I could put in my link shells from Party Finder, and in the end, it created a reputation of some sort.
yeah,
Uh,
and I guess yeah, in terms of server rep, if you are a troll and just an asshole, you do end up being on the blacklist where nobody wants to play with you. And like we know of some people where like we'll ask our group, our social group,
yep.
if they know this person, and they say, "Yeah, I've had this bad experience with them." We're like, "Not part of our static, sorry."
That's how we decided on one of our tanks. We were looking for someone, and someone he sounded great. Had really good experience with everything. Our most recent tank that we were going to get. Um, and then a day later, we were asking our chat. We were like, "Hey, has anyone had any experience that wasn't good with him, or is he cool?" And he was like, "Man, that guy fucking is a complete asshole. He wanted to buy him out when we did a raid when it dropped, and then he didn't pay anybody for it. He just took them out and left. And
No, it's somebody else was there to get them out, and he was paying, I think. And then the second to last person to leave rolled on it anyway, just to see if he could get it.
oh yeah, and then he got it right.
No, he didn't. But
Oh
he
okay.
just, but then he said in chat, like, I just wanted to see what would happen if I got it or something like that.
It's kind of like an asshole-ish thing to do. And since it was two friends that I know really well, of course I'm not going to have him as a tank anymore. I can get a fucking another tank. So I mean that goes into your server rep with how you interact with everyone else. Blizzana, do you ever like go and you're like, do you got like ask other people, hey, should I group with this guy? Should I not, or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, to some extent. I mean, it depends on how desperate we are, I guess.
Gotcha.
uh, I mean, there are a handful of people where, I mean, I guess this kind of ties into it, but we had a guy that was in the FC, and we took him on one of our carries. We were trying to help out some of our FC members and stuff, and he trolled it. He went in there and just flat out was wiping us over and over and over to like a Ramu X,
Mm-hmm.
and um, later on, I told him, no, I'm not going to take you, because you clearly went in there and you trolled us and we couldn't, you ruined the carry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and wasted our time. And that's one of the biggest things is like you're wasting people's time at that point. And I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I think there's more bad server rep than there is good because nobody talks about the good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I ask for people to tell me, and so sometimes when I've asked in the past, I was like, "Hey, is this guy a good person?" They're like, "Yeah, he's great. A wonderful Dark Knight. Hey, he's great. He's a great bard." But then they'll say, "No, that guy sucked. He wiped us the entire time." I feel like a server rep actually does some stuff. If you go into a group and you act like an asshole or you do a bad job, it's going to come back to you in some way if people use outlets of talking to their friends to find out if they should group up with you or not. I'm not going to waste all my night with you trying to clear something if I know that you're not a good player.
But I
Uh,
guess it only matters to people that care. So
yeah. Adagio, what do we got, man?
Well, as far as me personally, I haven't touched PF since 3.0. I used to use it a little bit in 2.0 when I was doing first turn
Hmm.
coil. I used to PF 1 through 4, and honestly, I didn't have very many bad things to say about it. I mean, we usually got in there, people were pretty accommodating, people would help you learn the mechanics, and I managed to get 1 through 4 down every week that way. So, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about PF. I do see some troll posts in there that seem kind of rough, but I mean, I guess if people have been running something over and over again and not getting the group that they want, I'm sure that they can get aggravated. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's never a need to be posting some stuff like, no, you're shit, get the fuck out, blah, blah, blah. It's like, just calm down, it's a game, dude.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, most of the people are saying if like Zero says if PF is used properly, I mean, people join phase trials, dungeons, blah, 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 all the time. So, I mean, PF is a good tool if used properly, but you gotta use it properly is the,
I
the
mean,
problem.
I used to AFK a lot in the morning and have the game up, and I would just put fucking post on there and just say stupid shit on there. I would say like, "Hey, good morning, everyone. How you guys doing?" And that would be all I'd say on it. And then people would just respond to me, and they're like, "Hey, I'm doing great, thanks," and that'd be it. I mean, because Party Finder is barely used. When you think about how many people are actually playing the game actively, and you have 5 fucking Party Finders on there, that's kind of crazy to me to think that barely anyone actually utilizes it. But
Yeah, and it's server to server too, because I've seen some pictures of where there's like Gilgamesh has at some point like 30 on there, but a lot of the time it's like Zero and Jet were saying fate parties. I've never
mm,
really had a problem with those, um, and then other than that, like I use it for if I need to find a replacement for raid or I need someone for something like crafting if I can't find it within the FC or my static. So uh, I don't think it's being used the way that they initially wanted it to be used anymore. I mean, you can still find like Alex Normal, Ravex, Bismarck X on there, but for the most part,
don't
it's
fucking try to do Ravana X or Bismarck X in a Party Finder. I'm sorry, like I have never had a good experience with it.
well, that's one of the reasons why I don't use it. Like I'll use it for Alex Normal every once in a while, but
Hmm.
outside of that, like I ran everything with my static. I don't need Party Finder for it. I know I can
Exactly.
already do it. It's
Yeah.
more of a bulletin board than it is a Party Finder now.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, and
yeah, a
people
lot of
have
us have. Sorry,
no. Go
a
ahead.
lot of us have had like those bad experiences. I think, and that just turns us off the Party Finder. Just people expecting cures. Like they don't say they don't have experience with the fight, but the Party Finder clearly says like, please have some experience with the fight. And then like the freaking bonus pops up when you
Yeah.
get in there,
You're
and you're
like,
like, all
please tell you have
right,
cleared it, or yeah.
who didn't clear this?
Then you have to go
Uh,
through. All right, well, let's go through try to get it all sorted out, and it becomes a pain in the ass.
yeah, it's just like all that negativity.
Well, I mean, I guess another question that I kind of have just in Party Finder in general. I mean, a lot of us have been with the game for a while. We have resources. We have free companies. We have link shells. We have friends that we know. We can get groups together for stuff if we really want to. But new people who are coming into the game, Party Finder and Duty Finder might be their only real options. Um, and so maybe that creates a whole nother atmosphere where the people who are using Party Finder aren't good because they're new to the game and they have no other way to get other people to play with them. So maybe it just dooms itself with just where it is in the game.
I think it's more on the people. Like someone else was saying, it was like, "Oh, hey, I'm a nice guy," in the chat. I forget who it was,
Hmm.
but someone was saying, "Hey, I'm a nice guy, but nobody wants to talk to me." Well, there has to be a little give and take in the community. If you want other people to talk to you, you have to kind of put yourself out there. If you
Yeah.
want to get better, ask questions. And that's one of the main things that I get is like even within the FC, when some statics and some people are having a hard time and they want help, but then they don't ask any questions or they act like they don't want it. It's like, why am I wasting my time with you?
Hmm.
And, if you want to learn, I'm here to teach you. You just ask me. Like,
Yeah.
why is it so hard for people to ask questions these days?
Oh, we were doing Leviathan, Extreme and Duty Finder the other day, and that's really horrible to do, by the way. Currently, at least. So, because most people who are in there are only going there because they need their clear. And a tank was in there, and he said that, you know, he got kind of upset when someone was like, "Oh, I'm new," and he was like, "All right, well, let me explain every single detail of the fight to you." I'm like, the biggest thing is they're gonna fall off if they can't figure that out. We're not gonna be able to get them through it. Just let them go in there and see it. And then he was like, "No, no, this is a really complicated fight. I have to explain everything." I said, "Okay, explain it all." And so he started to explain it, and it turns out he has never cleared it either. And he's like, "This is the hardest fight in the world. I can't believe this. I know it like the back of my hand, but I can never get it cleared." And he's falling off the boat. I'm like, if you're fucking falling off the boat, you do not know the fight by the back of your hand. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had the same thing in a Rav X. Is like my prior tank who doesn't play the game anymore, and a couple other people. We were going to do a Rav X farm for one of their members that they had picked up to try to get their weapon so they could go into, Savage progression, and we had three people in there that absolutely didn't know the fight. Like, how is that a farm group?
Yeah,
It's a learning party at that point.
it is. People just need to start label. They're like, I've almost cleared it before. You're still going to be rough on some of the mechanics, and you're going to fail on simple things. So if you just cleared it once, that doesn't always mean it's going to be a farm group. It's going to be an attempt at a farm group, I guess. But these people will fuck up things because they just barely made it through the last time, too. And so since they're like, "Oh, I've cleared this once. I already know I can farm it." You probably still don't know half of the fucking mechanics in the fight, and you might have got lucky on the clear that you had.
I think it's just like a lot of pride and people not wanting to admit that they might not know it. And what I found, I guess, is like people that don't know it just tend to not ask questions.
No.
They
It's,
just like watch a video and they think they know it. Yeah, yeah, I know what this is about. Yeah, but you haven't experienced it. And when you fail, you're gonna know, and everybody else will know that you don't know.
and they get so upset. We had someone leave the
Yeah.
group when we were doing that Leviathan clear, and we cleared it after they disconnected themselves. It was pretty funny. They didn't clear it before, but they're just. All right, I won't vent too much, but we will go into Duty Finder. We will go into Duty Finder because Duty Finder does play part of the community, whether you believe it or not. It extends into what I think is data center community, but it doesn't really. You're almost never going to group up with the same people every single time.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like there is a need to even interact with the people in Duty Finder? And Kerr, do you ever like say, "I'm in a party, I need to interact with these people because it matters in some way or another"?
Every once in a while I get in, I'll say hi, and then as for saying other things, usually like if somebody in the party in Duty Finder says like a joke or something, it's kind of like you're weird. Nobody says anything.
Right.
As for ending it, we'll say, thanks for the party, and that's it. Just like two interactions, hi and bye.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of, you have that feeling like these are just people that I don't have to interact with because I'm never going to see them again. I'm just trying to get through the stuff, and once I'm through it, I don't fuck them.
Yeah, I think the point is like I probably won't see him again, so what's the point of making a relationship?
Right. I, however, as soon as I join the party, I make sure people know I'm saying hi. And I also make sure they know that I'm Frosty. And I say, "Hi, I'm Frosty." But I say it kind of in a tone that they probably can't see it. I'm like, "Hey, I'm Frosty!" Kind of a happy tone. And I think people appreciate that. So, Blizz, You think that?
Can they specifically tell that you're saying it in a happy tone, or is that just how it
Of
comes out
course.
in your head?
If you read it, of course, you know what I'm saying. Blizz, how do you feel when you go into 2D Finder? Are you just kind of semi AFK, don't care what the people think, or what?
It depends on what I'm doing, depends on the group and how receptive they are. I've had good and bad groups. Like Kara was saying, was high and by is really what most groups are. But there are a few, and one of my biggest things, and I've made posts all over Reddit about this, is people that go into content and clearly you're new and you don't ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, ask questions about it or this and that. Um, and then people get really, really angry when you try to teach them. And it's not needed.
Yeah.
At that point, like I shut off completely and I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
If we don't clear this in like two goes, I'm just gonna
Vote
leave. I'll
abandoned.
take my
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, but otherwise, like I'm usually friendly or I just don't say anything. Um, Again, it just really depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah. It really depends on the mood for me too. Sometimes I go through there and I just want to get through the dungeon, and even if they say hi, I don't say anything. I just want to semi AFK through it and just get done with it. Other times, I actually want to interact. I'm like, oh, this guy has a funny name. I'm going to make a joke about his name real quick. But again, you're in that whole situation to where you may feel like your interaction is completely worthless. Adagio?
Used to try to interact more in DF when in like 2.0. I think people were a little more social then. Now, like people just kind of, I mean, like say when like Amtapor Keep was the hardest thing you had to do with, people were a lot more social at that point.
Right.
Now, like, I don't know, you hop in there, you can say hi, everyone else says hi. Everyone just wants to get in, get their tomes, and get out. They don't really care, like Cursa. They don't really care about making a relationship with you because they're probably never going to see you again. Which sucks because like people like Jet up there says he has really good experiences with interacting with people. He's had a lot of laughs. I mean, I've had a couple of good experiences. I've had plenty of bad experiences, and most of them are just experiences.
I mean, so when saying this too, I kind of want to add an extension to this question. Do you think that this being a social kind of game, that this is a bad thing, that there's an outlet here that you just kind of use for clearing stuff and not really caring about talking to anyone? Is that a bad thing, or is that just part of what's needed in the game?
I think it's kind of part of what's needed in the game because a lot of people that are hopping in DF, like I said, just want to get their tomes, and that's essentially all they're going to do for the day. Is get in, get their tomes, get out. They have other stuff to do with their lives. If you want to be more interactive, run stuff with your free company, queue up as a group, jump in a PF. I mean, I think Duty Finder is kind of just get in, get out, get on with your life kind of situation.
I'm gonna start being more interactive with everybody.
You
Every time I
should.
go in there, I'm just gonna start making like saying stupid shit and annoying the hell out of everyone. I don't care.
You're gonna be a weird one.
I'll be a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think one of the biggest factors is that people have played this game long enough now to know that there's a bridge between the different people. You have either people who are throwing out this elitist, oh, you're an elitist crap, which
Right.
I hate that term so much. And then
Right.
on the flip side of that, you have people that when people are just trying to give you constructive criticism, just blow up in your face.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very toxic community overall when it comes down to stuff like that. Because I really feel like nobody knows how to talk to each other anymore.
Well, you got a lot of times in video games, I think you have a whole bunch of socially awkward people trying to be social too. Because I mean, I love talking to people. I think it's great. But there's a lot of people in the game who may never talk to anyone outside of the game, and so they may have some sort of issue with social abilities, and they shut down when they feel like their pride is being hurt and they're losing face.
You know what's funny about that though is that uh, my FC leader is like that. He'll tell you he's socially awkward, but he uses this as an outlet to be social.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't like talking to people. I hate it.
One thing that Fairy did once that I participated in was like this chocobo race in Cortes. I thought that was pretty cool because they actually got like the community together and they had like people wearing yellow shirts standing around to see like if you got to a checkpoint to see nobody was cheating.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we try to do is we try every so often. And I've been trying to bring it up. We had a 1 year anniversary for the game and for the FC where we had a bunch of events and it was for the entire server. We had like lawn darts, we had like a fashion show, we had a chocobo race, we had different things like that. And I was wanting to do that again. And we gave out prizes to the community, and anybody could come by. That's something that we've really been wanting to, do again.
It's
Uh,
tough though. I mean, to get that stuff organized and get it to actually get people there. I always,
it,
I mean, I'll tell you the one experience I had with trying to organize something with the community was I wanted to do a triple triad tournament when triple triad came out. I tried hard to get people. I had party finders for weeks. I did shouts for weeks in Gold Saucer. I did everything I could to get people to sign up for it, and then whoever won would get like a million gil. At minimum, depending on how many people signed up. If there's a lot of people who signed up, then sure, you'd get a lot of gil. In the end, 8 people signed up after a week of yelling, shouting, party finders, all this stuff, and only 5 people actually showed.
I don't know. I found about fairies thing from Reddit though.
Maybe that's a
yeah.
better outlet is to actually go to Reddit and stuff and go out there and
Well,
get
I
those
mean,
people.
for our 1 year, we literally spent like 4 months with probably 25 plus people. Like our in our ranking system, we had like all our officers, our vice GM, our GM, our wizard saints,
Hmm.
that were all organizing different things, and it took like 4 months leading up to this to build what we could, going out and party finder and posting it, telling other FCs about it, posting on Reddit, posting it on Facebook, Twitter, any social media, just putting it out there. It took a lot of work to do.
That's insane. And that seems like that's just way too much work to organize any community event, and that's probably why a lot of them don't exist anymore. Because you don't want to put 4 months of work into something that's going to last one day, right? It's like a wedding. You're putting a shitload of planning into something that's just going to go by in like a few hours.
Well, for
Uh,
the sake of fun, there are people that like event planning very much.
yeah, and no, there's Waltz, who comes in every once in a while. He does those big RP events and stuff, and I saw him streaming one of those, and he had tons of people everywhere, and I was just like, holy shit! If I could get this guy to organize any event for me, this would make my day. Like that has to be maybe someone can make that their job in the game, event organizer, and they can actually get people to show up for that stuff.
We actually have a couple that are designated to that, so
Wow.
yeah.
All right. So, the last part that I wanted to talk about with community was kind of one that I wanted to throw in there because it was still dealing with data centers, and I feel like I've seen a lot of community because of that is PvP in general now. You deal with a lot of the same people over and over again. I see Blizz shaking his head right now. But Kerr and I have a link shell dedicated for the people who are in our Twin Adders group, and then
You didn't just do
I
that.
totally did it. Twin Adders, and we work on, every once. I haven't really joined too much up with them, but it's nice to have people that you see all the time. You can interact with them, and you can actually think a little bit and talk about PvP. And then when we join the battlegrounds, we're usually teamed up with the same people every time, whether they're on our server or not. And you can talk to them, and people will talk shit to each other all the time. They call people bad and stuff, but whatever. It's still interactivity. So kind of, I guess the question I would have is, do you think PvP will kind of help the overall reach of community, or is it just same thing as Duty Finder? Fuck it, I don't care about these people. I don't ever have to talk to them again. And Kerr, do you want to start that off?
What I've noticed is you do have to plan a little bit more and cooperate, so it does help in terms of being social, but it's not always the good way because they do end up like arguing, saying, "No, that's the horrible way. We have to go south, not north," and it can be a mess. But other times it works quite beautifully. Like we end up winning, and so it just depends.
All right, Blizz. I know
Yeah.
you don't have too many thoughts on it right now.
Adders actually win.
Yeah, I have a high
Yeah,
win rate.
yeah. When they're working with Immortal Flames to bring down
Yeah,
Hellspawn,
exactly.
that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
No, PvP in this game has just really turned me off. Ever since Wolves Den, like Wolves Den was a
Oh
joke
yeah.
for an arena. I like when they came out with the front lines, it was pretty cool for a while. I worked on it a bit. Now that they have Seal Rock, it's actually a little bit better. But PvP to me, like I came from playing SWTOR, Battlegrounds, like
Mm,
that was PvP.
yeah.
Where you could go in, you played objectives, but a lot of those objectives were based on not just sleeping people. Like you had to have decent rotations.
Right.
Like you didn't just sleep people and LB them. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like just some of the mechanics and the classes and stuff that they brought when they split up the adrenaline rush thing or whatever the hell it's called. Um, I don't know. I just don't like how some classes are just over overpowered really in
Right.
PvP.
I
I mean,
play as a
hell, Black
machinist. It's
Mage.
like a joke.
Yeah, like Summoner was fun. Like I played a couple Seal Rocks, and it's like, all right, try disaster. Like you're literally burst. Try disaster, freaking Dreadworm stance, Mortem. They're
Yeah.
dead. Whatever. Now you have to wait a minute, and
Yeah.
you can kill your next person. But like, I don't know. Like Black Mages, they have like four sleeps. They sleep you LB, you GG,
Hmm.
you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. It's just it's not fun to me. It really isn't.
You are kind of limited to what kind of arsenal you have going in there and what you can really do, which sucks. But in the end, I've accepted it. I pretty much came to the belief that PvP is just never going to be fixed in this game because there's so much more stuff that they're going to focus on before they focus on making PvP serious. They would have to skip an entire patch to fix PvP, and I don't know if they're willing to do that. Uh,
No, because this Final Fantasy has always been a story-based game.
yeah,
It has always been a story-based game. So even with your raids and stuff, raids are easily molded into the story. PvP is outside their realm. They just need to be done with it,
yeah, or hire
honestly.
a company to deal with it.
Yeah.
Just outsource it and say, hey, we got a little bit extra money. We're going to hire a team dedicated to actually doing PvP. But that's
I
not
hear,
the only way they can do it.
I hear BioWare is looking for a place to go after
Yeah.
EA bought out SWTOR.
Right. Okay. So, Adagio, any kind of
Um,
thoughts?
I mean, I don't really talk too much when I go into PvP. I pretty much just go in, do my thing. I listen to other, I do read chat. People are like, "Oh, go to this one." I usually go to the opposite direction because I'm a rebel. But you know,
Did
I
you
don't.
just say that?
Yes.
You go to, oh, they say go to this one. I just go to the other one.
No, I shouldn't really. I generally go to the opposite side of the map just because it's like right when things are about to spawn. So I'm like all the way on the opposite side of the map where everyone's fighting because I actually cap nodes that way because I'm there, no one else is there. I'm like, bam, got a node. Now we gotta hold it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have noticed that as far as like chatting amongst like the actual in-game chat, I don't do it as much now that I like stream. I'm mostly in my stream chat. And I don't hardly pay attention to the actual in-game chat because of that. Because I mean, so I mean, maybe that's part of it. Maybe I'd be more into chat in the game if I didn't have a stream going at the same time. I don't know, but yeah, I just don't pay attention to chat much, unfortunately. So.
So you think it adds like no social aspect at all to the game, no community, no anything?
Well, I mean, people have like PvP LSs, so obviously there is a community there, and people want to do it. So yeah, if you get into the LSs and you get like involved in those groups, then yeah, of course it adds to the community.
Okay. Does chat say anything relevant that you want
They pretty much are just saying that summoners are broken and so on and so forth.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so we talked about a lot of different subjects here. Is there anything I'm missing with community? I mean, this is pretty much the community, right? Is there anything else out there that people use? I mean, I know there's external. I'm talking more like internal game stuff, not external like websites and everything else. But like within the game, what else really is there to work with?
I think it's really only like networking yourself,
Hmm.
networking your FC, creating friendships, creating uh, essentially business partners, I guess.
I mean,
That's how we did it anyway.
yeah, I created the LS that I have right now because I needed a way to kind of have a free company that wasn't a free company. I wanted the communication there with other people that were played the game and were good, but they want it to stay in their FC with their 5 or 6 friends, or real life friends or whatever. They wanted to stay in the FC they were with because they were forever there. But I still wanted them to be in my circle of people I talked to and did stuff with. And so that's my community. Is my link shell, and we don't always talk all the time in there, but I'm pretty happy with it. So I would say, community-wise, it really goes to statics, and then link shells and FCs. And if you want to become more well-known, go do some party finders and find some friends. That's what I did. I found friends in Party Finder.
Sounds like that's what I need to do.
Or find a good FC, or find a good link shell, and find a static that knows people. I mean, there's so many outlets out there. Whenever I talk to people and they're like, oh, well, I can't really find a place. I can't find a static. I can't find this. I can't find that. Well, one, are you doing your job? Are you learning your class, your rotation and stuff? Are you sociable with other people? If you're not sociable, I mean, how can you expect other people to be sociable with you?
Yeah.
So, that's my one thing to people out there, that, if you're not very sociable, break down those walls and get out there and talk to others, because not everybody's bad. I mean,
that's a great point. I hear it all the time. No one ever talks. I'm like, well, do you fucking ever talk? I mean, that's kind of a thing. You have to go out there and talk too. You can't just kind of piggyback on everyone's conversations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go out there, initiate. Be leaders, guys. Be leaders.
Leaders. We can hang out in other people's Twitch chat, because that's how we found their current scholar.
Yeah, actually, that's how we got our scholars in our Twitch chat.
Hey, that's a great outlet too. I mean, there's obviously a lot. There's 60 people watching this podcast right now. Twitch is a really good way to go out there and find people to talk to, whether they're on your server or not. I mean, hell, that's how I've created the little community I have of streamers currently. So
yeah, go out there and watch streams and talk to other people who play the game. I think that's great, actually, to mention too, is with Twitch, it's a community in its own. There's lots of people who stream all the time, and you can go out and talk to them and find out what they're doing different, or they're always willing to talk. Twitch, Final Fantasy 14 streamer community is small. You don't have tons of people out there that have a hard time keeping up with chat. You have a few people who have a hard time keeping up with chat, and everyone else will probably respond to you almost immediately when you say something in your chat. So if you guys want to deal with a community, go into the Twitch community. We have at least three wonderful people here on the stream right now who are part of the community, excluding me. So I
thought you were going to exclude me.
I was about to say excluding Adagio.
Yeah, I was going to say excluding Adagio. I'm trying to be nice. I'm doing my best. It's hard.
Why? It's so weird.
It's weird to be nice to you.
For you to be weird to nice to me.
Because I feel bad for you, man. I don't want you to go do something.
Fool Emma, I'm calling you out on that statement right there. That is a blatant lie, Emma.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. So, I think that's it. I think we had a really good conversation on just talking about the community in general. For anyone who is wanting to look for a community, go for Twitch like we just said. What other recommendation would you have for someone looking for a community, Blizz?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming I'm assuming we're talking about Final Fantasy. Just go out there, find an FC. Kind of play around with it too, because if you join an FC, it may not be a good fit for you. Mm-hmm. Jump from FC to FC, or go on the forums, go on Reddit, go on, because whether you know it or not, there's subreddits for your server. Go find them.
Not that people use them, but
I mean, some people do, but I don't. There's so many outlets out there: social media, Twitter, Facebook. I don't use all that. I have a Twitter, and I haven't even tweeted maybe twice on it. But there a lot of people use different places, and I mean, if you're gonna want to find active people, like Twitch is probably a big one. Start following people.
Hmm.
That's the one thing that I don't get is that if you find somebody that you like and that you enjoy, make sure you follow them so that you know when they're streaming. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand that about some people.
Uh,
But other than that, I mean, FCs, go find some links. So just put yourself out there in Party Finder,
hmm
um, and be sociable. That's the
hmm
biggest thing is, be you, and until you find people that are going to accept you for you, because not everybody is going to. I mean, it's going to be a hard road, maybe it
Yeah.
won't be.
I mean, that's a really good way. That's awesome. What you just said is I completely agree with. I don't know if there's too much to really add to it, but Kerr, is there anything else you would recommend? You're pretty much.
I mean, yeah, just bite the bullet and join a party finder because that's also how we found a lot of our STAG members as well. We had good experience with them, had a good attitude. We thought they're good players and they became great players. So,
The only
yeah.
caveat is be a good player. If you want to find people in Party Finder, be a good player. You're going to find a lot of people. Adagio.
If I be a good player, I'm never finding anybody.
Yeah.
No, actually, I need to start hitting the pavement, and cause yeah, I need a new static, cause yeah, I'm now the only person
All
left in
right,
my
so
static that wants to
let's
play.
stop for
So
a second. Let's stop for a second, Adagio.
what?
You've been kind of hitting the edges of this bush all night.
I'm just saying, I'm
Look,
not used to
he's
being out there, so now I've got to put myself out there more and
So
like find the PF.
he's using my method right now.
yeah,
So,
okay. So tell me, Adagio, did you guys just not work out like good times, or what's going on?
just people lost interest. They're all burning out.
Okay.
Um, essentially, what it comes down to.
Is it really just you that is left from the burnout?
The only person that's really left from my original static group that I'm with, like our one of our healers didn't feel like doing it anymore, which is obvious. Healers have a crap hard time to healing Savage. I understand why they're burning out. And then we had our raid leader was like, "Well, if you're heading out, I didn't really want to head out because I didn't want to be the person that starts this. But if you're going to, then I'm going to head out too." And we had another our dragon was like, "Well, if y'all are going, I'm going." And then we're gonna try to salvage that, but then now Gilly and Jin are gonna unsub, and then our other healer and our bard are not gonna play because it's just me and them three that are original. So they're like, "Where am I just gonna take a break too?" So I was like, "Well, now I'm the only person left." Shit.
Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, man.
So yeah,
The fucking
Yeah.
savage is killing people.
it really
Well,
is.
I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like if you don't have an outlet of playing like D3 or playing another game that's out there. I mean, go look for a game that you haven't played that you've been wanting to play. A lot of them have gone free to play that or have a trial where you can test them. If you can't do that, go get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't you
please.
guys also don't have to raid every fucking night.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
raid
biggest
every
thing.
once in a while. I think raiding twice a week is good. Any more than that, it's kind of starts to wear me down a little bit. Twice a week, I feel like I get a good shot at content. I don't forget mechanics as much. Like I have one night of kind of catching up, and one night like really serious hardcore attempts. And I feel like that's good. If you join a group and you're burning out, you're raiding too much too. Slow down. It'll be okay. You don't gotta have to be server first. Enjoy the game. It's a fucking game.
Yeah.
This isn't a
Yeah.
job. When you start
Yeah.
making this game your job, it's not a game anymore. And I've said that almost every goddamn episode, but please, guys, for your own sanity. All right.
Uh, 1 second.
Yeah.
K1 SPL, I would agree with you, but my raid team would hate me for saying that healing is a tough job because I play Scholar and I DPS most of the time. So I'm not
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to agree, but they're probably gonna eat me alive for it. So
Yeah. Doing FOSS, the first time I wanted to quit healing.
I gotta be honest with you. Kerr will every once in a while be like, I don't know why I heal. I don't want to heal anymore. This is stupid.
It's so hard.
It does get really tough, and figuring out all the times that you gotta pre-heal, like you gotta start casting before something happens, and just mastering a fight is. I think healing has a lot of work to get that done. Like tanking, you're like, okay, I know this tank buster's coming up. This is what the cooldown I'm supposed to press. healing, you have to make up for so much shit just to save a fight.
Right, and if you're tired, if you just like look off in the distance for 1 second, then your tank's dead, and then it's all your fault.
Yeah.
So it's just like the amount of
Be nice to your
concentration.
healers, guys. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. We don't have any other questions. Well, we do have one question. Adagio.
Oh, yeah. Donago asked a while back, what job do you think that Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid would play, and what kind of player do you think he would be? Elitist, helpful, troll, etc.?
He would probably be the person who knows what to do, and once he realizes you don't know what to do, he'd just go find another group. He wouldn't say anything. He would just be like, I'll go find another group.
Like, fuck this group. I'm better than this.
And he would probably play... I guess a ninja might be the closest thing. No? Blizz?
He'd probably play warrior. I think.
Nah, Dragoon.
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 But
He has to be
But he
sneaky,
doesn't
right?
die enough. Dragoons die way too much.
Hey, look, have you ever played it? You die plenty. Play on the hardest difficulty.
You're not
the hardest
supposed
difficulty
to.
is like using your fist or something, right?
Hey, now Big Boss doesn't die, you die. There's a difference.
Okay.
You're role playing as him.
Well, then you stop being bad, damn it.
All right. Well, this has been a good show. I've actually enjoyed talking with you guys and having everything up, but it is getting to that point where we need to start wrapping it up for tonight. And everyone here has been absolutely wonderful. Both our on-screen discussioneers, yep, and viewing discussioneers, yep. Before we leave tonight, I want to make sure you all know where you can find everyone on stream. Kerr, please tell us where we can find you and why they should find you.
You can find me at Kura. I just typed in chat, and I'm usually here. I only stream maybe once or twice a week now because I have school, but you can join me over there too. I think most of you do already anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, you can find her on my stream or her stream there. Let me make sure I do the shout outs first too. Shout out, Karara. There we go.
She's like, just come to my stream. You don't need to go to yours.
All right, Adagio, where can they find you? Why shouldn't they find you?
I mean, come on. You should just find me because I'm fucking me. I mean, really.
I don't think that's convincing enough, man.
That's convincing to many, many people.
Okay. I'm sure they exist. All right.
Anyways, because of Paper Dodger, that's why you should find me right there, okay?
Paper Adagio. Okay.
You can find me on Twitch at Adagio_Andante. Twitter is Adagio_Andante02. I also have YouTube and Facebook, and I also have Snapchat now, but all that stuff's just too long to sync out, so just go to my Twitter page, or my Twitch page, and everything is linked there, so.
All right. And last but not least, Blizzana. Blizzbear. Blizz.
Sup, sup. Yep. You can find me at twitch.tv/Blizzana. All my info is up under there because I only have Twitter and YouTube, but you can find me at Blizzana on Twitter and Blizzana Meister on YouTube. But links are on my page. Just come hang out. I play, WildStar now, D3. Final Fantasy. I'm usually streaming. If you guys want to hit me up, I've got all my info and stuff on stream. So I stream almost every day, but I'm not going to be able to for a couple days because I get a new modem. I'm surprised that this thing has lasted me tonight. So
yeah, I mean, do you have like DS 2.0 or something, or you have 3.0, or you have cable? What do you have?
no, it's just it's a cable modem. It went out the other night. What was it? Saturday night. It went out for like 3 hours, and I called them. And I thought it was just an outage, and they were like, "Oh nope." Talked to a really chill dude. He was like, "No, the model that you have, while it's not old, like there's signals between it to make sure that everything's running correctly, are very, very weak." And so, guy is coming out tomorrow to install it and stuff. So,
All right. Well, he's gonna have better internet, guys. So if you had any issues with it,
I was streaming, just find like it just cut out. I was streaming D3 at the time, and I was talking to one of my community members, and she had just left, and right after that, gone, out for 3 hours.
I know. God, I am trying to block out all the fucking internet issues we had at the beginning of, like, first half of last year.
It runs fine when it runs.
Yeah. All right. Well,
And that's just still have shitty internet, so.
Yeah, because you're cheap.
I feel like I should specify that is a face, not boobs, okay, people? This is paper Daggio.
Yeah, he
No,
has
it's-
boobs for eyes.
It's just...
Anyways, I'm gonna host somebody here, and the reason I'm gonna host him is because we've PvP'd with him a lot, and I think it's kind of funny that I'm seeing him right now streaming. I didn't know he streamed. It was Winter Mute, and we've been on his team a lot of times. I figured he doesn't have a lot of viewers right now, but might as well give him a check out and go check him and see what he's doing. Go check him. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and do a shout out to him. And you guys can all go check him out. Winter Mute, what the fuck is your thing? Winter Mute 17.
Ask a random question.
Huh? Yeah, ask a random question real quick.
No, you want that. Then I'll ask random questions.
Oh, yeah, and so if you guys want to, I would highly recommend when you go to his channel just to fucking ask him a random question and see what he says. It doesn't matter what you ask him. You can ask him what his favorite color is, but just ask him questions, because getting to know people is great, guys. Even if you're getting to know things that you might not want to know, but if you asked it, maybe you did want to know. Anyways, go check him out. I'm going to send a host over to him right now, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful night. We will be back next week to talk about the Tokyo Game Show. That's going to be up, what kind of information we're going to get from that. Again, I want to thank Blizzana for coming on for the first time. I hope we can get you on here again, too, man. You've been a great time.
Hey, just hit me up whenever. I'm ready.
Yeah, we have lots of shows that you'll be very helpful on, especially the raid lead show that I want to do again in the future here. And Adagio, thank you for joining and helping with the community again.
Do my best.
Kerr, thank you for being beautiful and wonderful again.
Oh,
Brownie
now,
points.
Don't
Get the
be
brownie points.
getting all sappy on
Okay,
us
just
now.
take the brownie points. All right. Thank you guys for watching. All have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. I'm gonna sit here and
Bye.
wait for. I always have to wait for 15 seconds.
Bye.
But that's fine. Adagio face is up.
Yeah, Adagio face. We can have Adagio face there for a second. All right.
You're
and
so happy.
Yeah, so
I'm
happy
very-
Adagio faced. Oh gosh.